Redial. Did this man just say he hit redial on the cell phone? Okay. Tyler Perry's Divorce Sistas season 1 episode 6. And if you see me looking down, it's because I got notes because I'm professional now. I was wondering how Pastor Jeff was going to get out of this phone call with Myron calling him babe and asking him if he was in the car and if he could talk. But this is not what I was expecting. There was just something about the way that Pastor Jeff was saying, my wife is looking at me crazy. She can hear everything you're saying right now. And it sounded like a little bit of coaching going on there. I don't know. We'll see. So Rashida storms off into the house and he calls Myron back. And now I'm side-eyeing Myron because he's just a little weird. I don't know. He's kind of creepy to me. So he tells Pastor Jeff that, he didn't mean to call. He apologized profusely, but he did let him know that he had a doctor coming over to check on his hand because he's still concerned about this little burn that he got on his little finger. And Pastor Jeff was like, that's what I'm talking about. You don't listen to me. Myron apologizes again. They hang up. Pastor gets in the car and he starts praying for his wife and his family. And as soon as he's done praying, he gets a call and it's Tiffany. They talk about last night for a second. Pastor Jeff is like, how is Naomi? And Tiffany was like, you don't care. He's like, yeah, I'm still a man of God. I do care. She was like, she's fine. She's out. He was like, well, she's going to jail for a long time because Franklin's going to come at her with everything he got. And Tiffany's like, well, can you talk to him? Girl, no, nobody can talk to Franklin. Franklin is unhinged. Him and Naomi are unhinged. And on the first episode, I was really wondering how a man who has $37 million to give to his ex-wife ended up with Naomi. Because she's ratchet. She's educated but ratchet. So she then tells him, she's been calling her. She just can't get in touch with him. Where is she? And he tells her he messed up, and she immediately thinks that he cheated. And he was like, no, I would never do that. But, I didn't open her car door. And Tiffany says, you hit a trigger. And I was like, a trigger for a car door? Okay, let's see what this is about. Let's see where we're going with this. So she tells him it's over unless he goes in there and pours his heart out right now. This man said, I'm supposed to be at the hospital right now. She said, okay, go ahead. She was like, go ahead, take your ass to the hospital and see what happens. She didn't say all that, but you get the gist. So they go back and forth for a few seconds. So she's like, just tell me what the problem is. I don't understand how a door can make my wife leave me, basically. And she tells him a story about Rashida's college boyfriend setting her up to be a aide. And now he's feeling bad and he decides to take his ass back in the house and talk to Rashida. And can I just say, this is the longest we've been over past the house because, they don't let us stay around there long. So he goes in, he finds Rashida in the bathroom and she's still, distraught. She's sitting there. She looks like she's contemplating life. He sits down beside her and he has this long speech. And I'm going to sum it up for you. He basically tells her that he's jealous of her because people like her, she has a bigger book deal than him. God has given her something that he didn't give to him. And he's struggling in her shadow because he has to work for people to like him. And I'm just like, honey, get over yourself. So Rashida asked him straight out, point blank, period, are you having an affair with Myron? He says no. And are you attracted to Myron? He says, I'm not attracted to Myron or any other man. Then he goes on to say, but I am attracted to some of the women at the church. Boy, shut up. What? He even gave her names. And she was like, ew. And she was like, you know what? It's time for you to go ahead and go to work. Because he did do too much of that at that point. So he's like, well, promise you'll be here when I get back. And she was like, well, I'm going to go. I'll be here. He apologizes again, and then he leaves the bathroom. So Rashida showers, and then she calls Geneva, who is still in her gown from last night. She is following this white yoga lady. Rashida is like, girl, go home and get dressed. We got business to take care of. You trying to find something on William because you want to be with Javon so bad. So they talk a little bit more and they agree to go check on Naomi after work. Jefferson then circled the block and, well, actually he never left. He said he wanted to ride together with Rashida to the church like they used to do. And Rashida was like, I'm not going to that hospital. I don't blame her. We went last night. Me and Franklin don't get along. You let that man call me out my name. I'm not going to check on his wife. So he was like, that's fine. I'll drop you off at church before I go. So he starts complimenting her about how good she looks last night, and she gets suspicious. Like, okay, who you been talking to? Because we don't do this. Apparently, they've never done this because it made her suspicious. And this is why you can't tell people stuff. Now, Tiffany said, "Don't tell her I told you." What he do? He told her. She told him. He sat there and told that girl everything Tiffany said. And Tiffany, that was not your story to tell. You violated the first, second, and third code of the girls. We didn't appreciate that. So he's trying to tie Tiffany's diarrhea of the mouth to God blessing him because he had just prayed, and right after he finished praying, he got that call from Tiffany. Nonetheless, he promises to open every door for her, including the ones to his heart. Whatever. I don't trust him. I don't like him. And I don't feel like he's truly concerned about Rashida. I think he's worried about his image and how it'll look if Rashida actually leaves him. You know, what would the church people say? I think he's on that. So we finally leave Rashida's house and we get to the church. And Calvin is sitting in the lobby when Bridget walks in. So she apologizes for the fight. And he was like, well, if you're sorry, then tell me where he at, because I'm sending the police over your house and they couldn't find him. Nobody was there. She was like, I don't know where he at. He was like, so you gonna lie in church? Well, he at his mama house. He was like, where his mama live? And she was like, I don't know where she stay at. So she was like, you really gonna put him in jail? He said, what you think? Now, I know anybody asked me, but Calvin, you hit that man first. You pushed him first. And then, you took that ass whooping like a man, but then you gonna go run to the police? No, that's not how that works. Because you didn't fight back. They said you was a professional boxer. You could have took him down if you wanted to. Don't call the police. Anyway, Rashida and Pastor Jeff walk in while Bridget and Calvin are still talking, and Calvin wants to talk to Pastor Jeff. Myron falls out the damn sky. He comes out of nowhere and it's like, I told him you was busy. Myron, go sit your ass down. You are still on punishment for letting Rashida know that Pastor Jeff got a man. When they get into Jeff's office, I'm sorry, the men go into Jeff's office, Bridget and Rashida go into Rashida's office, and Rashida was like, who going to jail? Nosy. So Bridget tells her about the fight, and Rashida was like, oh, I didn't know Vaughn was violent. And Bridget was like, I didn't either. I've never seen him like that. Whatever. I mean, you can't really call him violent. The man pushed him. I mean, he was gonna go all the way, but he was provoked. So Bridget is like, y'all came in all lovey-dovey, and she's surprised. And I just don't feel like the church people should be surprised because your husband kissed you on the cheek. But marriages go through things. I get it. Bridget wants to know what changed between Rashida and girl, I was about to say Rashida and Kirk. Bridget Bridget wanted to know what changed between Rashida and Pastor Jeff, and of course she gives her nothing but a work assignment because y'all are not friends. I keep telling Bridget that. Now we over here with Geneva, who is walking to her car. She's at home. She's walking to her car, and she is killing it in this burgundy leather ensemble. She looks good. Tiffany is standing at the end of her driveway, and she's calling Geneva, and she watches her ignore her call. And she was like, "Oh, that's how you gonna do me?" And Geneva was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just in a rush." And excuse me, Geneva was like, "What you doing here?" And she was like, "Somebody um, requested me specifically to show this house across the street." So they get in this weird, like, tit for tat conversation, and I think Tiffany is starting to realize that something's going on between Geneva and Javon, so she starts rubbing it in. Yeah, I talked to Javon. I spoke to him all the way over here. And Geneva was like, okay. And then, girl, why don't Javon pull up? So he's the one who wants to move across the street. He's the one that asked for Tiffany specifically to show him this house across the street from Geneva. And then he says that William was the one that told him about it. That's why I don't feel like William is innocent. William knows something. Why do you want this man living across the street from you? I don't even want friends that I'm friends like in real life with live across the street from me. It's too close. It's too much. So he stands there and Geneva leaves and he's flirting with Tiffany while they wait for the other realtor to come in and show them the house. And it's kind of pissing me off because he's laying on so thick and he don't even like Tiffany. He's just playing with her. Yeah, Geneva done took her dumb ass to this lady yoga studio talking about she's trying to set up a play date for Maddie and Anika. And when did she start smoking? Like, girl, no, Tyler Perry, no. So she goes in, she tells the lady that she wants to set up this play date, and they exchange numbers, and then she leaves her phone on the counter and she hit record. She walks to her car and then she gets inside the car, then jumps right back out the car, walks back into the building looking like Shaft. And did y'all hear Tyler Perry directing during that scene? You can hear him say in action. Y'all need to get together. Tyler Perry pay y'all too much money to be making these kind of mistakes. So she goes back in after a few minutes. She gets her phone and she gets to the car and listens to the recording. All she got was the lady saying, I just got the strangest visit, but she told the person she didn't want to talk about it right now. She'll tell them about it later. Back at the church, Geneva and Rashida are supposed to be discussing Rashida's book deal. And of course, they put Bridget out because, again, she's not a friend. So Geneva tells Rashida that she knows William is messing around with this white lady because her gut tells her so. And Rashida's like, what's your end game here? Because what are you trying to do? Do you really want to be with Javon that bad? And Geneva was like, I don't know, but I'm bored out of my mind with William. So she tells Rashida if Tiffany and Javon have sex, it'll be over because just Javon has the biggest you know what she's ever experienced. And she's like, and he is, and Bridget said the devil. He is playing with you and your best friend. He is the devil. So Rashida goes, can we get on to my book deal? And Geneva pulls out the contract. And she was like, we can go over, but can we just focus on this? So unprofessional. Like, girl, business first, always. So Rashida was like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. You about to mess up the best thing that ever happened to you for a piece of penis. Well, she didn't say that, but that's what I heard. Just a little paraphrasing. Over in Bridget's office, she gets a text from Vaughn saying, nobody, if he can't have her, he don't have a reason to live, and he's gonna take himself off the planet. Rashida walks in and Bridget shows her the text, and they're calling Vaughn. They're trying to get him on the phone. He won't answer. Rashida leads them into Jeff's office. Rashida tells him what happened, and Vaughn finally answered the phone. And he's talking about how nobody loves him, nobody wants him. Bridget put him out. He's sitting in his car, he's crying about how he's 30 years old. His mom and his daddy, his mama wouldn't miss him. His daddy don't want him. Bridget put him out. And then he said Bridget let that man attack him while he was sleeping. Now, Vaughn, I know you're going through it and I know you're struggling, but nobody attacked you while you were sleeping. Now, we ain't gonna lie on a man like that. So Jeff is doing everything he can to calm him down, to talk him down, talk him off the ledge. He ain't trying to hear it. He was like, put Bridget back on the phone. He tells Bridget he loves her, and then we hear a single shot. That was it. That's the end of the episode. So do y'all think he's gone? I don't know what Vaughn had going on, and sometimes there's no way to know what somebody has going on. Maybe Bridget put him out was just his 13th reason. But if you don't take anything else from this video, take this. Try not to be somebody's 13th reason today. It costs nothing to be kind. Love y'all. Bye.